Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me. I am still Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com. It is still in the description below. It is your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any of our platforms. Please reach out to me directly. I am Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for pricing. Today, we're discussing a sublime 2020 limited edition of 175 pieces in the exclusive honey gold. This is the Lange Sohne 1815 thin honey gold Homage à Effet Lange. It is a celebration of 175 years of high-level watchmaking in the town of Glashütte, dating back to 1845 and the founding of the original company by F.A. Lange. The watch you see here is as minimal as a dress watch gets, manual wind, 38 millimeters and two hands, and yet packed with virtues, and we will go over all of those. So 38 millimeters in diameter, the watch is 6.7 millimeters thick as I measure it from lug tip to lug tip, 44 millimeters, with a 20 millimeter spacing between the lugs. We'll throw it on my wrist, which is 16 centimeters in circumference, and while the strap is fresh and thus not broken in, it's very stiff. You can see, even constricting my wrist with the stiff strap, the watch fits perfectly. Super flat with a domed bezel and a 6.7 millimeter thickness. It slides under any cuff. My wrist is 16 centimeters circumference, but I could recommend this watch for a wrist as small as 13.5 centimeters circumference. You can see over the top, which always exaggerates the width of the lugs, and then a more definitive down the barrel, which shows just how much clearance I have on each side. There's your cuff shot once more. The strap, large rectangular scale, symmetrical scale, alligator leather, always a very expensive cut of the hide when you combine those features. Semi-gloss, medium brown. It's got some bolstering to give it volume with a monotone stitch and a folded edge. We have brown calfskin on the bottom, a brand new Lange strap, never crimped, never gouged. You can see we have a pin buckle here made by Brogioli, which is down in the southern Italian-speaking part of Switzerland. That's why this German watch has a Swiss hallmark on it. And you can see that we have an F&T on the case, which is F-Tior, a case maker in Switzerland owned by Richemont, which also owns Lange, which is why we have a Swiss hallmark on the case of this German watch as well. Now, both buckle and case are made of honey gold. It is a very pale gold. Best described as something akin to what traditional white gold looked like before the application of rhodium. It could also be compared to the unique straw gold featured on the Journe Society chronometer. If you've ever encountered one of those, if not, go check out my review of that so you can see what I'm talking about. But the buckle is honey gold, which is both a unique color and, of case and buckle both, more scratch resistant than conventional golds. You can see there's a little bit of a soft crease in the faceting on the flank of the buckle. It's Lange branded. It has an elevated bridge so you can stick the strap in, and the strap more or less sits inside the buckle rather than stacking up underneath. See how it fits flush in there? That's just to keep it flatter on your wrist. There's also this little retaining bar. If you're like me, you have a small wrist, and if you're wearing this watch, you might have a small wrist. You're going to use the smallest hole or even punch a smaller one, but a tightly strapped watch can get pinned on the pin. That little retaining bar inside the buckle prevents the strap from sliding all the way to the base of the pin and becoming inextricable. So that is the advantage of Lange's pin buckle. Now, not every Lange watch has a satin finished mid-case. Almost every Lange watch has a case with a domed bezel, a cylindrical mid-case, and stepped lugs. But the presence here of the satin breaks up the mass of the metal, giving it a little bit more distinction and nuance. Of course, the lugs are stepped out. This was a feature suggested by brand co-founder Gunter Blumlein in the early 90s when the company was reestablished as a signature that could be distinctive of Lange watches, and sure enough, it has been. You can also see there's a little bit of a soft bevel on the edge of the lugs. Bezel and lug hoods as well as the lug flanks are polished, and you can see there's a very slight inward step of the bezel from the case band to add some more visual distinction and articulation. A Lange Sohne on the crown, and then a dial of enamel. And Lange does its own enameling. It has since roughly 2014. I think it was the Lange 1 Handwerkskunst was the first in-house enamel dial by Lange. They do it on a copper base. So what you're looking at is two pieces of grand faux enamel. There's the center disc, and then there's the outer hour and minute track. These two pieces are fired up to 20 times at 800 degrees centigrade, an application alternately of white and clear enamel, hand polished to create the lovely porcelain-like appearance you see here. The nice thing about enamel is that it's glossy, gleaming, and eternal. Moisture, dust, has no effect. Like a pocket watch, as long as you don't physically damage it by doing something stupid, it will look new as the day it was made. That is the beauty of enamel, and it's done on a copper base, a very artisanal process. The hands, which are alpha style, are also honey gold to match the watch. And you know this is an 1815 series because it has Arabic numerals. On the reverse, we have caliber L0931. A few things are different here. It has more of a 19th century look. So rather than stripes or streifen, because we're in Germany now, we have a media blasted frosted profile, because this is how it would have been done in the era of F.A. Lange. This is the F.A. Lange Homage watch. He would have likely etched the bridges using acid. Today it's done with either a wire brush or media blasting. The bridges are still German silver, an alloy of nickel, copper, and zinc, with the copper giving it its golden hue. If you look at the characters on the bridge, as well as the hand-engraved fluting and volutes of the balance cock, these have all been black rhodiumed to contrast with the rest of the movement. It's a unique finish only found on this model. There's engine turning on the base plate. You can see mirrored beveling on the edges of all the bridges. We have both black polished and fired blued screws. We have a 3/4 style bridge to pay homage to the pocket watch era. Black polished cap for the escape wheel, black polished screws, black polished click spring and click, and black polished swan's neck fun adjustment mechanism. It is adjusted in a chronometer style 5 positions, pivots on 21 jewels, beats at 3 hertz, and has an impressive 3-day power reserve. We've got this 3/4 style bridge as though it were a grand old pocket watch, and then a swan's neck style click spring of the same style as you would find on a pocket watch. Now, if you look carefully, you can see that the teeth of the ratchet wheel and the crown wheel have been micro-beveled, an incredibly impressive refinement. You can also see that the edges of the bridge that surround the wheels have been micro-beveled themselves. We have golden chaton cups holding the train jewels, and golden chaton cups are how jewels would have been precision mounted back in the 19th century, as it wasn't possible to press them into bridges precisely, not quite yet. The precision golden cup would be made, the jewel pressed into that, and then it would be fit into a drilling in the bridge or plate and held in place with screws. We have both those fired and those polished screws, and both of them feature chamfered slots and circumference, and then all of this water resistant down to 30 meters. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.